Today, YouTube, and by the way, hello YouTube. Today I will tell you about a brave explorer who was more than just that, an explorer, and he operated in most interesting areas of the world. You'll hear about Shambhala, Atlantis, Tibet, lost cities. Look, few people know about this person in the West, so let me elucidate you. Just know that more than a century after his death, some of his travel diaries are still classified in Russia. The Imperial Russia is gone, the Soviet Union is gone, this is the age of the new Russian Federation, and yet, according to such researchers as Alexander Kulsky, those diaries are still classified. So we're speaking about Nikolai Przewalski, who is rightfully called a great traveler, a scientist and researcher, the first European to venture into the remote Central Asia. Over 9 years of expeditions, he has traveled more than 30,000 kilometers, from the Russian Far Eastern taiga, boreal forest, to the Mongolian steppes, the outlandish landscape of China, the Gobi and Taklamakan deserts, the mountain steeps of Tibet, to the vicinity of the sacred capital of the Buddhist Dalai Lamas of Lhasa. And he didn't just pass there, he put those places on maps. He erased so-called white spots in geography. Przewalski's scientific interests were vast. Geographer, archaeologist, botanist, zoologist, cartographer, climatologist, ornithologist, ethnographer. There's a ridge in Tibet, mountains in Primoria, which is the Russian maritime province, a glacier in Altai, rocks, a cave, a wild horse species are all named after him, and also a number of other animals and plants. Well, he died during one of the expeditions at the age of 49 from typhoid fever, and he was buried on the shores of Lake Issyk-Kul. There is a monument on the grave with a short inscription, Traveler N.M. Przewalski. So he bequeathed it before his death. If you want to know about this man, more about this fascinating lake and its ancient vanished civilizations, its mysterious history and UFO encounters, please see my previous videos. I think you will be amazed. I think more people should know what's going on in Central Asia, and has been going on for thousands of years. Look, but one mystery about him remains. You see, for the discovery of a wild horse or even a mountain range, they do not assign the military rank of Major General to explorers, and Przewalski became one at the age of 47, although he did not participate in big battles and warfare. So who was Przewalski really? Okay, let's start from the beginning. He was born in 1839 in the Smolensk village. After graduating from high school, he decided to become a non-commissioned officer in an infantry regiment. After 5 years of service, Przewalski entered the General Staff Academy of the Russian Empire. He specialized in geography. For the coursework Military Statistical Review of the Amur region, Przewalski was elected to the full member of the Imperial Russian Geographical Society at the age of 25. The young lieutenant's first business trip was to the Far East by the order of the Russian Geographical Society to study the flora and fauna of the Ussuri region. Impossible places, frequent overnight stays right in the snow, attacks by Chinese robbers and highwaymen, as well as paranormal phenomena, but it is not mentioned in the published official biographies. This is very important to know, and you should by now have seen some of my videos about the very same areas and what has been going on there, and very interesting paranormal phenomena, from the flying man to UFOs to serpents to underground cities and so forth. Anyway, in 2 years, Przewalski collected 300 species of plants, made more than 300 stuffed birds, made a number of discoveries. He published a book, Journey to the Ussuri region. The Russian Geographical Society awarded him a silver medal, but the main secret purpose of the expedition was different: to make maps of the new possessions of the Russian Empire for the General Staff of the Imperial Army. The lieutenant paid special attention to the strategic importance of the region, offered places and options for the construction of military fortifications, and he became a captain. And then there were this was the famous Przewalski expeditions to Central Asia. One to the mysterious Tibet was worth quite a lot. Tibetan travels made Nikolai Mikhailovich Przewalski an outstanding world geographer. However, he did not go there for scientific achievements. You see, the struggle between Russia and Great Britain for influence in this very important geopolitical region began, which the poet and spy himself, Kipling, called the Great Game. Przewalski became a serious participant in this great game. Look, my motherland faced a powerful enemy, the British Empire, spreading its control over Asia. And Nikolai Przewalski can be considered the ancestor of a new type of intelligence, operational intelligence, according to Russian military historian Dmitry Podushkov. The agents of European powers actively conducted intelligence in all countries of the region, but thanks to Przewalski, Russia immediately gained a huge advantage in Central Asia. Look, for the sake of truth, I will note that many Russian travelers of the past centuries at sea and on land were officers and worked for the general staff. Take, for example, the famous writer Vladimir Arsenyev, the author of the book about Dersu Uzala, and a keen observer of the paranormal. Please see my video about the flying man of the Russian Far East. Arsenyev was lieutenant colonel of the Tsar's army, and after the communists usurped power over my motherland and installed their bloody socialism, they made him pay dear for his past. Also, Mikhail Vinnikov, a researcher of the Far East, he was Major General, and today the president of the Russian Geographical Society is Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, a die-hard traveler. Nikolai Przewalski explored the vast territories of Central Asia. He thoroughly studied the life of people, flora, fauna, compiled accurate topographic data of localities. He was considered there both a saint and a sorcerer. Let me tell you about a very interesting expedition then. Well, the expedition led by Przewalski in September 1883 set out on its fourth journey through Central Asia. On October 29, 1885, through the Bedel Pass and the Zhyuka Gorge, the travelers safely returned to Karakol, where Przewalski set a new goal: to prove the existence of the city of saints at the bottom of Lake Issyk-Kul. As a rule, legends say that ancient cities hidden under the surface of the waters were accessible to the eyes of saints. It is difficult to say whether Przewalski was one of them, but one of his letters testifies that he saw the Issyk-Kul Atlantis, and more than once, from the place indicated to him by the Uyghur monks who lived in an ancient monastery nearby. The exact coordinates of this place were not disclosed to them for fear of being accused of disease-caused insights and storytelling. But the traveler, he received a warning from the monks: you can see anything, but you will not be able to enter the city, and you will have to pay with your life for trying to open the gate. The cartographer of the expedition, Lieutenant Lukovnikov, being a witness of the conversation, recalled that Nikolai Przewalski objected that he was not yet old enough to think about death. The monks replied, "A man does not die when he is old, but when he is ripe. Your time, wisest, seems to us, has come. Przhevalsky retorted, "We will not give up. We will search. We will find the underwater city." Przhevalsky's Issyk-Kul passion, however, brought nothing but disappointment to the researcher. Simple technical equipment made it possible to carry out work only in shallow waters. Listen, I have a number of videos about Issyk-Kul, including the underwater city and legends about the Mongol gold and the strange civilizations down below, and more than that. And of course, in my book, Russia's USO Secrets, I mention it quite a lot, including the underwater humanoids. But so look up the videos at least, and if you can, read the book too. I think you will find everything fascinating about that lake. Now, service in intelligence, in this intelligence service for the Russian military, impacted the personal life of Nikolai Przhevalsky. This handsome officer never got a family. To relatives who were worried about this, he explained, "His profession does not allow this." However, it is with a woman that the loudest, maybe the strangest legend about Przhevalsky is connected. They say that in between expeditions, he rested in Gori, that's in Georgia, with a friend of the Georgian prince Maminashvili. Przhevalsky met his relative Ekaterina, princess relative Ekaterina, who unsuccessfully married a drunkard shoemaker. A romance broke out. Baby by the name of Joseph was born, and the worldwide traveler and intelligence officer Przhevalsky sent money for the education for the baby until his death, Przhevalsky's death. Well, Joseph grew up and became Stalin. The birth of the legend was facilitated by some portrait similarity of the Soviet leader, Generalissimus, and the Russian Major General in the Tsarist military uniform. Take a look. See what you can decide. This story was circulated back in the USSR quietly, but some people believed, some not. Well, there were Russian researchers not long ago who were preparing materials for the anniversary of Przhevalsky, and they found a curious video on the web. At a small, by invitation only, party in Vladivostok in 2001, Andrei Kapitsa told his friends amazing things. The son of the Nobel laureate in physics, Pyotr Kapitsa, the younger brother of the presenter of the Russian TV program Obvious is Incredible, Sergei Kapitsa, and Andrei Kapitsa himself was a famous geographer, dean of the Faculty of Geography of Moscow State University, the discoverer of the subglacial Lake Vostok in Antarctica, and a corresponding member of the Academy of Sciences. You can believe this guy, I think. According to Kapitsa, Przhevalsky was in Gori with his ancestor. And it goes like this. This was in the video. "I find a letter from Przhevalsky to my great-grandfather, where it is written, if the events known to you happen in Gori, then you will have to help him for the rest of your life, because I will no longer have the means. It was clear that my great-grandfather, Hieronym Ivanovich Stebnitsky, from 1832 to 1897, that's what his life, had to help the illegitimate son of Przhevalsky, and indeed, according to information from 1896, he helped Joseph Vissarionovich's mother with money. Iosif Vissarionovich Jugashvili, that's Stalin's name. Stalin's departure from the seminary coincides year after year with the death of my great-grandfather, because he no longer had money. After many, many years, I dig up this story that it turns out our family helped Stalin with money all his childhood and youth after the death of Przhevalsky. And Stalin knew 100% that he was Przhevalsky's son, and that Stebnitsky helped him with money. That's why he defended my father, a relative of Stebnitsky. When my father and I discussed this issue, he said, "You will publish it only after my death." Well, Russian researchers checked, and Kapitsa actually had such an ancestor, General Stebnitsky, head of the military topographic department of the General Staff. They crossed paths with Przhevalsky, both on intelligent matters and the Russian Geographic Society business. And Pyotr Kapitsa really did not become a victim of communist terror of the 1930s, although the clouds were getting over his head more than once. So did the so-called father of the nations, Joseph Stalin, cover up for him? Another curious fact: after the death of Przhevalsky in Karakol, the city was renamed Przhevalsk by royal decree. The Bolsheviks, having taken power, returned the old name. Stalin renamed the city of Przhevalsk again in 1939. After the war, a gold medal was established in his name, in Przhevalsky's name. In 1947-1948, travel report books were republished for the first time since the revolution. I guess not all of them, from what I understand. Anyway, the feature film Przhevalsky was filmed by decree from the Kremlin, by orders from Joseph Stalin. Apparently, Stalin liked the legend of his father, a great traveler, explorer, and a spy. Nikolai Przhevalsky could not sit still. He was constantly eager to travel, but expeditions were expensive, and the right amount was not always available. So Przhevalsky had to play cards for money. Admittedly, he did it. His excellent visual memory made itself felt. One day, Nikolai Przhevalsky, while on one of his first missions in Ussuriskaya, won a very large sum of cards. It allowed him to change his life and start preparing for the first Central Asian campaign. Since then, Przhevalsky had not touched cards. I think this is a legend. I think this is a cover-up, and he got money from the Russian military, from the general staff, but it is what it is. Look, in his notes, Przhevalsky mentions Shambhala. He places it on the island, especially notes its natural riches, gold, rivers, soils on which wheat reaches an amazing height. According to him, milk and honey flow on Shambhala. Why don't you watch my video from not long ago about the location in Shambhala that was recently placed in Russia and what's going on there? I think you will find very interesting confirmation. Anyway, on ancient Tibetan banners, we see the city of Shambhala in an oasis surrounded by snowy peaks. According to Przhevalsky, Lake Issyk-Kul could be one of the places of the probable location of the gate to the mysterious Shambhala. After consulting with local Uyghur residents, he found out that the mysterious underwater city is best observed from the foothills at sunset in the middle of July. They also warned famous geographer that you can admire the city as much as you want, but it's better not to try to get there, as I told you already before. Anyway, not to penetrate, but the trolling of the lake of Przhevalsky did make. According to legends, during the work, someone dressed as a priest approached Przhevalsky, warned the researcher about his imminent death, and handed him a boxwood capsule containing a message with the most important secret for humanity. Since this message belonged to him personally, Przhevalsky did not promulgate its contents, but left for his descendants to do so. And before Przhevalsky's death, he ordered a capsule with the message to be embedded in the pedestal of his own monument, where it supposedly remains to this day. After his death, the search for the gateway to the underwater city was abandoned until more recent times. Prior to Przhevalsky's travels, there was not a single astronomically defined point in Central Asia. Nikolai Przewalski identified 63 of them. Thanks to Przewalski, European science first got acquainted with the life and social relations of the Labnorians, Machinians, Dungans, Tanguts, Northern Tibetans. Anthropologists argued that if Nikolai Przewalski had not left any other results of his travels, except for his notes on various ethnicities, then he would have had every right to be called a great traveler, explorer. His research was carried out according to a program developed by himself, of course including military survey, astronomical determination of latitudes, and in the last journey, longitude. Of the most important points, barometric determination of heights, meteorological observations, study of flora and fauna, with a compilation of the richest collections of the area. Ethnographic observations were supplemented with drawings, and in the last trip, the photographs. In total, Przewalski, during his expeditions, covered a distance of more than 30,000 kilometers. Look, which is slightly less than the length of the equator. Many people know about Przewalski's horse. It would seem that for any researcher, the eponymous animal species is already married, but Nikolai Przewalski is not just a discoverer of one horse species. In total, Przewalski found 7 new genera and 218 species of plants. Nikolai Przewalski discovered dozens of new species of animals, among them the wild horse, the wild camel, the Tibetan bear. His zoological collections, according to contemporaries, have no equal, and probably will not have for a long time. Of course, in addition to all his scientific achievements and intelligence work, about which we know very little, but judging by who was in charge, I'm sure he achieved a lot. Well, Przewalski was also a good leader. It is significant that for all the time of his travels, not a single member of his expedition died. Przewalski was originally not just a traveler, he was originally a military man. And of course, like I said, the travel was a good cover for him. An intelligence general at his age. It's not customary to talk about it, but that's how it was. Another thing is that at that time any expedition was supported by one or other structure. It is obvious that for Nikolai Przewalski himself, his work in intelligence was secondary to scientific activity, but military training more than once helped him and his colleagues, saved them from certain death. Maybe one day we will find out what is written in the classified diaries of Przewalski. Really, this was a very interesting life, and he added nothing but glory to Russia. I thank you for your support of my work. If you can, please do so through the links which you can find in the description to this video. I do want to bring more to you about Central Asia and Mongolia, of course, and Tibet, Himalayas, Russian information, and hope to do it soon. Please subscribe to this channel and tell others. Thank you.